When it comes to parents in general, they're human. They make mistakes. We're all capable of making a mistake. We're all capable of saying the wrong thing in the heat of the moment. However, with the genuine parents, they care about their children. They want what's best for their children. They might not always go the best way about it. However, they are usually trying their best to be supportive of their children, to listen to their children and to care about them. However, when it comes to narcissistic parents, they will claim they're trying to do their best because it's sellable, just like a genuine parent trying to do their best, to hide the fact that they're doing their worst. Because when it comes to narcissistic people, they have that grandiose sense of self-entitlement. They believe they're special. They're arrogant enough to believe they're always right. They are exploitative and they lack the empathy to care. And that lack of empathy extends to their own children. They don't switch it on and off. If they're narcissistic and they don't care, they don't care. Narcissistic parents go all out to distort reality, to suit their narrative, leaving their children emotionally scarred and leaving their children profoundly impacted by being around such negativity from a young age. All parents are capable of saying the wrong thing. A narcissistic parent will repeatedly say things that almost program their child's subconscious in a negative way. And when you're brought up in that kind of atmosphere, so you've been brought up to always look at the negative in people, and whenever you try and point out and say, well, that's not very nice, your parents shot you down, it's very difficult to listen to your own voice. Narcissistic parents have so many manipulative methods, and they use a series of verbal attacks to instill things such as fear in their children so that they can control their children. They belittle their children, they undermine their children because they want to remain in control. Narcissistic parents, like many narcissistic people, will use gaslighting to dismiss their children's feelings and experiences, causing their children to question their own perception of reality, their own perception of events and their own feelings. Now, we're all capable of watching a child fall over and hurt themselves and saying, jump up, come on, it's not that bad, trying to sort of motivate them. However, sometimes we do need to adapt our parenting to the child that we are given. With a narcissistic parents, they will repeatedly use sentences such as "you're overreacting," usually to what the narcissistic parent's done to them, or "you're too sensitive," or "you're imagining things." Repeatedly using these sentences become a weapon to invalidate their children's emotions to the point where the children start to question their own thoughts and feelings. A narcissistic person will project who they are as a person out onto their children. They will accuse their children of being stubborn, of being selfish, of being awkward because they're looking to get their needs met by their children. Meanwhile, the narcissistic parent is some of the most stubborn, awkward and selfish people you could ever meet. So they will use statements like, "you're selfish. You never think about anyone other than yourself. You're difficult," to diminish the child so that the child learns to become a people pleaser and please others and put themselves last. Now, there's nothing wrong with putting yourself first if by putting another person before you, it's going to negatively impact your life. That is self-care. When you put yourself first at the expense of others with no detrimental effect on yourself, that is selfish. That is what narcissistic people do. They put themselves first at the expense of their children's welfare. They will use things such as guilt to manipulate. So if they want you to come round when you're an adult and you've got plans, they'll start coming at you with all those, after all I've done for you, oh, nobody cares about me, oh, I knew I'd end up lonely in my old age, to make you feel bad, so that they'll come at you and say, after all I've sacrificed for you, to make you feel bad, so that you sacrifice the plans that you'd already arranged and let other people down to be there for your narcissistic parent, because they've made you feel guilty. They make out like you owe them something. They make you feel obligated. They lay the blame and the burden on their children's shoulders. They will constantly compare their children to other people, constantly creating that negative competition. We're human, so we can have those healthy competitions, the sporting events where everybody who's in it knows that somebody is in it to win it. And we can have those supporting events where we're looking to beat our personal best than last time. A narcissistic parent will create competition in their child and get their child to compare themselves to others. Why can't you look more like? Why can't you be more like? Why can't you be as clever as? Why can't you do this, that and the other like so-and-so can? To diminish their children's self-esteem. They'll also go all out to undermine their children's independence. So whenever the child achieves something, the narcissistic parent will take the credit. Are you going to thank me for helping you? You wouldn't have been able to do that without me. Do you really think you're capable of doing that? Is more of the covert way, and the overt way would be to literally try and stop you any way they can. The coverts will sabotage you behind your back. The overts will purposely put obstacles in your way that they know that, and you know that they've put in your way, but you can't particularly do anything about it, because they want to foster that dependence on you to them. They will say things like, you'll be nothing without me, you need my help, you need me. And when it's repeatedly said to you, it programs you into believing the lies that they're telling you. They will go all out to invalidate your personal values and your beliefs. Parents in general do sort of create their children's values and beliefs. A narcissistic person, if yours do not match theirs, you're wrong. They're not interested in listening to you. So they will go all out to invalidate your boundaries and your personal space, often claiming it's for your own good. And what they're showing is they don't trust you. They haven't built that relationship in order to be able to trust you to actually speak to them. Now, children often do hide certain things from their parents. It's just how life goes. We all make those mistakes, and having the ability to feel comfortable enough to own up to a mistake to a parent can be challenging, especially when you're dealing with a narcissistic parent. A narcissistic parent will just barge into your bedroom. They don't care. They'll wake you up in the middle of the night. They don't care. They'll go through your diary. They don't care. They'll go through your phone. They don't care. And they will interfere under the pretense that they are trying to help, when they're not guiding you. They're controlling you. And if you question them, they're just going to turn around and say, well, while you're living under my roof, I can do what I want. And they train their children to understand conditional love, that you have to do something for your parents, you have to do something for another in order to get any form of love back, and you have to do it right. And if you don't do it right, you get ignored, you get criticised, you get mocked, you get humiliated. And then they go all out to shift all the blame by just turning around and claiming, well, it's your fault. Well, if you were more like your sister, if you were more like your brother, if you hadn't have done this, well, if you didn't behave in that way, I could trust you more. Yet the trust is already broken because a narcissistic parent doesn't trust anybody, and they will go all out to break your trust and create an atmosphere and an environment that you don't feel like you can go to them, because every time you do go to them, they gaslight you. They dismiss your feelings. They tell you you're overreacting. They tell you you're being too sensitive. They project out onto you and tell you you're being awkward. They guilt you and tell you how you've shamed the family in some way. They constantly compare you to other people and say, well, why can't you be more like so-and-so? And then they go sneaking around your back, looking through your things. So you can't go to them. They create that situation and then they go all out to blame you. There's lots of things that narcissistic parents drill into their children, condition their children into believing about themselves. Any you heard, please add into the comments for people reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support of the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsor link is also in the video description. I do also have a couple of books out on Amazon, 15 Rules to Deal with Narcissistic People if you cannot go no contact, and a Narcissist Handbook, which is the ultimate guide to understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse. I'll link those into the description also if you'd like to go and check them out. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.